So hi, I'm Mandy Feely, and I am the host of Origination Boost, and I have my friends from Sweet Group Real Estate here, and this is my friend Jeff and my friend Rick, and I will let them kind of do a little intro on yourselves, how long you've been in the business, what your main focus is, and let's talk about that first. Who's going first?
You go.
Yeah, who's going first?
Thanks, Mandy. Love it. So yeah, 31 years as a real estate broker. So I've been doing that a long time. Built some teams in a couple different states.
Cool.
And then I've been a full-time real estate coach for the last 10 years.
Awesome.
And then have an AI company as well. So I can see kind of what's going on in the industry and how agents need to adapt.
Well, 10 years of coaching agents and then also AI, which is a hot topic. So we'll get there in a minute. I love both of those. And I love that you can talk to the mindset of agents, you know, because I think that there's a lot of people that listen to the podcast that are maybe struggling right now with that part of it. So the coaching part's going to come in handy. And then your turn, my friend.
Yeah, Jeffrey Sweet, designated broker. Been in the business since I was 19. Actually started on the loan side. Got into the real estate side after the crash. Started as an individual agent, built a team, and that kind of transitioned into a brokerage where we're at now. And just been doing that ever since.
Yeah, you guys have built a nice, reputable brokerage with a lot of integrity and heart to it. I've really enjoyed our partnership for that reason,
totally.
Because you value the lender side of the business as much as you value the real estate side of the business. And I think, 30 years for me, I've seen it the other way where it's, tail dog, whatever you want to call it. And so I've really loved our partnership for that reason.
Yeah, totally.
The tail wags the dog. Yeah.
Yes, all the things. Okay, so they give me a script, and so I'll try to start there, but I have a tendency to drift off. So talk to me about your business model, purchase, repeat business, and, how you balance that. And Jeff, you teach agents how to really manage prospects. That's what I've learned from you, is you really have kind of learned to put systems in place to help agents better manage processes. So I think that makes your business really unique too.
Yeah, really what we focus on, what I teach a new agent is there's a lot of fluff in real estate, and it's really just putting a person in front of a potential consumer, right? Buyer or seller. So we kind of just cut out a lot of that. Real estate is really simple, to be honest with you. It's just good conversations and a lot of them. So
good point, right? I think sometimes we complicate it so much it gets kind of scary or unnerving, both on the loan side for loan officers and the realtor side. But you can't sit behind a computer and figure out how to get business.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you have to talk to humans.
Yeah, and it's leveraging what you're good at. People, if they were real with themselves, there's so many different. We were actually just having this conversation with a team. There's so many places you can kind of sit in real estate. You can be a TC, you can be a buyer's agent, a listing agent if you're at a brokerage like that, or you can be a team lead or just an individual agent. And it's kind of being real with yourself on where do you thrive? Where do you really love being? And then putting yourself in that seat and then hiring for the other positions, or leveraging even with a lender in positions you don't love or maybe best suited for somewhere else.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I see a lot of people trying to be good at all, right?
Yeah, you can't.
And it's hard. You're going to fail somewhere along the way. And those tiny failures become cracks in your mental state, right? And so I love that you're saying, figure out what you love and then hire around that. Build your tribe around you to help backfill where maybe you aren't as strong or you don't love those.
Totally.
parts,
And all,
right?
all of our high producing agents, hands down, are just good with people. We've really leveraged everything where the systems and the stuff that would pull them away from doing what they're good at is done for them, or at least in a large capacity done for them.
So 10 years in the business as far as coaching, longer than that in the real estate side, but what are you seeing? And I think the business has changed, right? We 21, we talked a lot about, and you could trip out your front door and find somebody that wanted to buy a house in Boise, Idaho.
Right.
I think that 22, 23, 24, affordability became a factor for all of us.
Exactly.
And I think that it became harder for real estate agents. I think people got out of the business. We saw that on the LO side of things. People got out of the business because they couldn't survive in that market. So to that point, on the coaching side of things, what's your message?
Well, first message is what Jeff just said. Most realtors are a mile wide and an inch deep. They spread themselves very thin and they dabble in everything. The problem with that is it's hard to get traction in anything. Yeah. So agents need to be much more focused and much more consistent, those two things. The biggest things I've seen just in the last couple of years, even from clients, They don't want to pay for knowledge anymore. They don't want to pay for access to information. They have the access to information. When I started in real estate in the 90s, we were the gatekeepers, right? Not anymore. They have as much knowledge as we have. They have all the access to everything. So they're paying for an outcome. They're paying for some sort of product or service or outcome, not let me show you how to do this. Yeah. They don't want to show them how to do this. They want it done. So I think as an agent, taking more of a leadership role now is more important than ever. And as we talk about AI, yeah, a lot of the number crunching is going to be done by AI. So it's that relationship and that leadership that people want, that people can provide.
Building trust and value, right? I think because before you had the keys to the kingdom as far as what was listed for sale or whatever, so you could build your value based on presenting a list of homes in their the parameters that the consumer wanted. But now you're right. We go online, we figure out what we're looking for, and then we come to our agent partner and say, I want to buy this house. Take me out and show me this house. I've been looking at a gazillion houses. So that value add changed, right?
Yes. Yeah. What you do as an agent changed. You're not longer just opening doors. And that's one of the things Jeff's is really good at. I mean, Jeff and the Suite Group, besides having the systems for the agents, but letting the client understand, we're going to help them embed into the community. Yeah. Like literally be a community concierge, not just help them buy and sell a house, but a really good agent has a niche. They understand their market, their local community, where the good hiking trails are, where the good coffee shops are, and they're going to help that client embed their life into the community.
Well, and I think, I'm going to go out and tell you something, and you're probably going to go, oh my gosh, man, you did that. But in 20 and 21, when you could trip out your front door and list a house, I was like, well, heck, I'll just do that. I'll just put it on Facebook and see what happens. And then I was like, I'm ridiculous because I'm in this business and I have no business being in the real estate business. I need to do home loans for a living. So I ended up, having our son Dylan help us list it, and we ended up making more money on the home because he had far more knowledge of what was going on in that market. And I think we ended up making $30,000 more than we would have had we gone out on our own. He ended up in a bidding war and all the things because that was the time, right?
Right.
And I think it just says that the value add of an agent that knows the market and knows what's going on, people look at it like a big dollar amount on either side, the loan side but I think that the value comes in. Sometimes it's you get a better price on a home, you get better negotiations, you find things in the home that maybe as a consumer you wouldn't have thought about or seen. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's where the real value of a good professional real estate agent that does it every day and lives in that space can help guide a home buyer to success, right? Yeah. And so I think as a buyer, if you're listening, you've got to take that part and go, that's my investment, and I'm probably going to be farther ahead because they guided me on things I wouldn't like. I mean, maybe they wouldn't have got a home inspection, or maybe they would. I mean, all the things that they maybe wouldn't have seen, right?
Consumers also are not blind to the fact that tech is so available to even the consumer, and I think what we're really seeing is actually diverting back to a really good customer experience. They want a good experience. Yeah. It's not always money driven. I think as agents, we tend to dial in our listing appointment and think we need to really hit home, and hopefully they agree with us on price, and hopefully they're reasonable and we're okay with commissions and things like that. At the end of the day, really it breaks down to a good experience of how they feel with you and what are you providing, just making it easy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's getting more and more important with
I think so.
AI getting bigger and bigger. People want and crave that actual experience, an emotional experience. And that's where we thrive as humans, right?
Well, and I think loan officers listening, agents listening to this, they're like, am I going to get replaced by AI? And I was asked that in a magazine I was just interviewed in, and where AI is very prevalent and important, I think it's even more hypercritical to have a human touch. And the reason I think that is people's situations are harder now, right? Maybe either less inventory, less affordability issues, where they want to be, where they want to live, what they want to know about subdivisions. I mean, that isn't necessarily readily available. And I think that the human touch of it is so much more critical now because it is so technical.
Well, I'm already starting to see a little bit of an analog renaissance, as I call it. Like people are sick of the digitalized world that we live in. I don't know if you watched the Super Bowl yesterday.
Yeah.
almost every ad was AI, right? I mean, did you notice
Yeah.
that? Like literally the ads were created
Well,
and
you have that
produced
knowledge.
by AI.
You
Just
probably
like,
absolutely can call it out. Yeah.
But there's things AI can't do. Go back to what the service of real estate agent. We have a real story of an agent here locally in Meridian last summer helped a client that was going to list their house. All the comps, if you use AI, if you use Zillow, if you use myself and her as experienced agent, comped at about 1.2 million. Well, I encouraged her to talk to some developer friends because she had 5 friends of hers she's done developments with over the years. 2 of them wrote offers on this property. One of them was for 1.8 and one was for 1.9. Because they were going to develop this.
Right.
When all the comps and everything else came out to 1.2. So she literally made them $700,000 more to their actual bank account than anybody thought. That AI would have thought that the house was worth. So that's the value of relationships,
I love that example.
Real human relationships. That's not replaceable.
Well, and
People
being able
don't
to
want
use your resources, right? I mean, I wouldn't necessarily have access to those developers that could see past what the potential of the property was, right?
Exactly.
So I love that. Well, so what are you thinking agents are struggling with now? I mean, it's not all sunshine and rainbows in our world.
Yeah, I actually think it's funny because as tech progresses, I still see the same struggles. And maybe I'm old school in my thinking. I think they struggle with having conversations, like legitimately just having a good conversation with someone, introducing themselves, getting on the phone and just saying, hi, how can I help? I just want to give you a courtesy call, of anything of that sort. And then I think you throw in the tech with it and they're worried about being replaced when I think they are going to be replaced, but they're going to be replaced with agents that use tech, not just tech itself.
Yeah, I think it's like sprinkles on a really good cupcake, right? I mean, how you use the tool in your tool belt is going to matter in the long run, not necessarily be replaced. I just don't think the humanity of this business, because people's lives and financial side of things or their needs for a home, it's kind of messy if we're honest.
Yeah.
Well, one thing agents don't think about enough, a lot of agents think that, I might be replaced by another agent using AI and using tech. I think the biggest threat right now is the consumers using AI. So we as a real estate industry need to wake up to the fact that if we can write an offer using AI, do a market analysis, write our marketing plan, write a listing description, so can our client using AI. So it's not another agent that's going to replace an agent. It's the consumer that's AI powered. So agents need to wake up to that fact and realize, okay, consumers are AI powered. So then that's where creating the emotional experiences come into play, like what you were just saying, Jed. If an agent can have that wisdom, like the networking person I just talked about a minute ago, you actually have real wisdom. People are going to go to AI first. That's just what they do. They're going to go to ChatGPT and ask it the question, but they're still going to want your opinion at the end of the day, in most cases, I believe. Yeah. But that's where agents need to wake up is like, there's a real threat to the industry right now, which is, you said the client finds the house on Zillow, they look at all the photographs, they can go into the sales history, the tax documents, then they call their agent. They know more than you do at that point.
That's wild, right?
So it used to be communication was always the biggest complaint about realtors, lack of communication from the general public, right? That just changed a few years ago. The biggest complaint now about realtors is I know more than my realtor.
Oh, interesting.
And that should be a wake-up call to the industry of like, they do, because they have access to all the information already. They've already gone to the house, looked at all the pictures. Then they call you and say they want to see it. At that moment in time, they do know more than you. So then your job as an agent has changed.
Yeah, so what's your advice? I mean, what's your advice now to agents that they get that phone call like, hey, it's your Uncle Bob and I want to buy XYZ house, or I saw XYZ house. At that point, what are you telling your agents? Because they're being told what the order is really, and then they're having to play catch up. Like, are you expectation setting wise? Are you saying on that first call, let me look into the home, let me get all the dynamics of it and call you back? Or like on a coaching side, what would be the,
We may differ on this, but I really feel it just goes back to the experience. I think people, if they have a great experience, they're forgiving the fact that they know more than you. know, I really believe that. I think,
I agree. They already looked up the property. They don't expect you to know all the inventory.
They may not even need it, to be honest with you.
Right.
It's just it ends to a mean. They want.
Do you feel like some people talk themselves out of that sale because the buyer, I call them borrowers because that's my life. I feel like sometimes loan officers out talk people. People kind of know what they want. They've done their analysis, and then the loan officer maybe freaks them out.
Well, I think it's an ego thing, I think, to some extent, but to be honest, because as an agent, if the person calls you with all this information, you start to even yourself think, well, what value am I? And then you start to cram all that information on them, and actually they're just like, hey, I want a great experience. I want you to just to
guide
Now
me through this.
guide me through it.
I want to be a doctor, a dentist, and an architect, and I want you to take care of all the crazy, right?
Yeah.
And there is a lot of crazy in real estate, friends.
Yeah.
So I think that that's perfect. And you brought up something about just the emotional feelings of salespeople, like how they feel about themselves, and they start. I feel like in my history, the biggest problem that LOs or agents are facing is their own headspace. Of believing that their value and deciding what their worth is. And I think if I had a coaching for today for agents or originators, you've got to know what your unique value proposition is, what you're really good at. You know, maybe it's just nurturing people through the process. Maybe it is understanding all the paperwork part. Maybe it is, navigating a successful, buy sell side of things. I think you've got to know what your value is so that you don't start second guessing all those questions when you feel like, what is my value? You know what your value is,
Right.
And I do think that a lot of headspaces get twisted, and that's why they quit on themselves. And the other thing is, you're not always seeing a check. So how do you measure wins in real estate? I could tell you on the loan side how I measure wins, but how do you guys measure wins when their closings, they're newer, they haven't got that for sale? Like how are you telling your crew to measure their wins?
I mean, mine's pretty simple. I think it's really, if you have good conversation, you have to, I don't know, that's hard because I could say one thing, but unless you've been in business long enough, you might be like, you've already done the business, so it's easy to say that. If you're having good conversations with people and they're legitimately going to buy or sell within the future, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Like there's no way to lose.
Yeah. So, and how many would you recommend from your seat, knowing what you know now? You built a brokerage, so your job's changed over the years, right? Because you're now mentoring, coaching, training, and being that advisor role. But when you started, I mean, to be successful in today's market, how many calls do you think they need to make? How many face-to-faces or talk tos or successful conversation about buying?
I'm probably one of those people that I just don't like numbers. I mean, you go till you either want to make it or not. I mean, you get in an industry where you get a 2-week certificate, just to be frank, and you can make more than a doctor.
Right.
So let's be realistic. Someone who's put 12 years of life in schooling, you're going to jump into it after a 2-week course and you want to make 6 figures. Well, you're going to have to make up for that gap of 12 years, right? The doctor would have to.
Yeah.
So as far as number goes, you should be working. If you don't have energy to work from sun up to sundown, just get out of the business. That's my personal opinion. Because you're either going to love it and you're going to love the grind, or you really should be doing something.
A passion for it, because
you have to have
fire in your belly.
Because you're going to have bad conversations too. You're going to have a lot of wins, but you're also going to have it only takes one bad conversation to negate all the good conversations you have for the day.
I can't even remember who the speaker was, but it was so good. He said, I came in, I was new to the market, and he goes, I just made it a game. If I could get 100 no's in a day, like if I could blaze through and get 100 no's in a day, I knew I'd had some yeses. And he just skyrocketed to the top of his brokerage. I can't even remember who the speaker was, but I find it fascinating because the thought process of shifting the negative, like you said, they get that bad and they're like, I'm done for the day. The no maybe would have been followed by the yes, but you didn't
go for it.
You stopped there with the no, right? And so I think sometimes, and I love your analogy of, hey, a doctor spends 12 years and a lot of education, time, money.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have school of hard knocks, school of college, so to speak, in real estate to learn and grow your business, right?
Totally.
Well, I can give you a couple of actual numbers, man.
Yeah,
You say how many numbers. So some real life examples. There's an agent that I coach. This is before, I try and give numbers before 2020.
Yeah,
because
everything's skewed after that. Yeah.
But in 2018, this is actually 2017, 2018, this agent in Portland, Oregon, she averaged 17 conversations a day.
Okay.
That's average, 4 days a week
Okay.
for 48 weeks
Awesome.
in 2018. And she made $305,000. So 17 conversations a day is like 40 calls a day to get 17 actual conversations. 4 days a week. That's a lot, by the way. If you're an agent out there listening to these numbers, 17 conversations a day, 4 days a week for 48 weeks. That's what it took for her to make $300,000 in a direct lead online kind of a program.
Yeah.
So what I tell people typically is, measure yourself based on conversations. I love that, what Jeff said, because that's how I always teach. I don't like setting goals around results. I like setting goals around activities, and especially activities you control. You control conversations. How are you going to do it? You're going to go out there and talk to people that you know? Are you going to join clubs? Are you going to start groups? Are you going to get online leads? What are you going to do? But then measure how many conversations are you having? I used to shoot for 10 a day when I was practicing in real estate, 50 a week, 200 a month. I would just measure myself on conversation. Am I hitting my 200 conversations a month?
And if you
can
didn't
do
hit them
that.
during the week, you're working Saturday, Sunday to get your
That's right.
to circle back. You're making non-negotiables.
That's right.
I always say, we are the terrorist. We negotiate with ourselves. We negotiate out of the 50 calls, right? We're like, oh, I don't need to do that this week. No, friends, you actually do. If you want to be a gamer in this business long-term, win month after month after month, you cannot negotiate with yourself. You need to just shelf that and say, listen, I'm doing 50 talk tos, whatever you want to call them. And if I don't get my 50 talk tos, dude, I'm working Saturday and Sunday. I mean, that's how top performers like you gentlemen and myself, we made those commitments and we stuck to them.
And it's easy if you believe you're bringing value. And you said people talk themselves out of things all the time, Mandy. I see that. Agents like, well, why don't you call more people? I don't want to bother them. I'm bothering them. It's like, well, if I went to your sphere and talked to your last 4 or 5 clients that you closed, I'm saying, hey, when Mandy calls you, is it a real pain? Is she really bothering you? It's like, no, we love talking to them. Every time I've ever done that, they're like, oh, we love it. It's like, so the agents have this mental block that, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to talk about. So that's what a lot of my coaching is helping people come up with what's their value proposition. Right. And then you want to make the calls and talk to people because it's enjoyable.
It's just a good connection, right? Yeah. I mean, if my friends call me and they have a business, I want to support them to succeed. And so I think that that's really great feedback.
What I've always taught agents is just the courtesy call, which I actually learned from a car dealership. If you just call someone and say, hey, this is a courtesy call, it de-escalates it tremendously.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I use that for years. Yeah, it's critical. Yeah. Who's going to get pissed off at a courtesy call?
You're like, unless they're just a brilliant jerk, they're probably going to fight.
I don't know if I've ever gotten a bad call when I use the courtesy call script. And there is a cheat code to that actually of being highly effective. And that's just putting yourself around the people who are already doing what we're talking about doing. Realistically, if you're around the people who are having those conversations and doing that, because I think a lot of times as an agent, and I realized this when I first started out, I was in a cubicle and I'm making these calls and I didn't know it till years after. I was actually making everybody else more effective around me because I was doing the shit they should be doing that they were refusing to do, but I was given them permission to do it by me doing it.
Right.
They were hearing me do it and they automatically would start trying to catch it by coattails.
That's so awesome because that's really what Origination Boost started as, because they were like, Mandy, what did you do to have this longevity in the career? I did everything that nobody else really wanted to do. Right. All the 50 calls that Rick brought up or those calls that you were in the cubicle. But I love that you say that because energy begets energy, right? Yeah. And they're like, dude, I got to keep up with Jeff. Jeff's making the calls. He's getting it done. He's putting scores on the board, right? And I think that the tribe around you matters. So if you 100%. Have a negative talk track around you, whether it's your spouse that's like dogging you that you're in real estate and haven't closed anything and the paycheck hasn't happened, or somebody in your direct sphere that's like discouraging to you, you need to shut off the white noise, because that is the biggest game changer, I think, for a lot of people in this business, is they get that, well, you're not making any money. No, but I'm learning a lot and I'm making the calls and I will get paid if I keep doing what I'm doing. Because I always say that what we do today pays in 90 days. You're not going to get paid for today's work right away. You might get a home run this month. You might get that call that's like, yeah, I need to move and I've been meaning to call you. You might get that, but I really think that the leading indicators like you talked about, that's the wins. If you are doing the leading indicators, you will win. Yep. It's just when you will win, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like we talk about lead measures and lag measures. To give people an analogy they can understand, like weight loss is a universal subject people talk about all the time. It's a $1 trillion industry, weight loss. Well, weight loss is a lag measure. It's like it already exists.
Yeah.
Like how many houses did you sell last year? How much money did you make last year? People tend to focus, how much do you weigh? Get on scale. People tend to focus on the lag measures because they're easy to come up with. Lead measures are what matter. So what are the 2 universal lead measures for weight loss? There's only 2. If you want to lose weight.
Diet and exercise.
Diet and exercise. Yeah. Everybody knows that. Okay, how many calories are we consuming and how many calories are we burning? If we focus on the lead measures, we'll get the lag measure that we want. And if we do the lead measures right. So you have to figure out, for real estate or for loan officer, what are your lead measures? Don't have 50 of them, by the way. Have like 2 or 3. And really drive those deep, and you'll get the lag measure. People don't do that because they have to think and come up with, what are my lead measures? How many should I do? It's like, it doesn't matter. Just start somewhere and start tracking. I always tell people, first of all, tracking is the first thing you should be doing. Before you set any goals even, let's just track for a while, because I don't even know what you're doing now.
Yeah.
Don't set a goal for 50 conversations a week right now if you're making 1. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. If you're already doing 70, that doesn't make any sense either. So the first few weeks, just track. What are you doing now? The first thing you were going to do is somebody's going to have a an exercise or nutrition coach, they would have them keep a food journal.
Right.
Just before I give you any advice, just write down every day, Jeff, for a week.
Tell me what
every
you're eating.
single
Be
thing
honest
goes in
what
your
you're
mouth,
eating.
and
Yeah.
write it down. Then we'll meet, and then we can talk. So that's where it really starts, is
Yeah.
understanding where you are first, and then, okay, what are my lead measures I should be focusing on?
Yeah, I think that that's in my mind, you've got to celebrate your wins. You need to do something good for yourself so that you remember that you are winning. So, but I love that you're like, don't eat the whole elephant at once. If you're only making one call a week, you might have a hard time making 50, especially if you haven't built the list of 50 people you might call.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or the 200 in a month you
Incremental
might call.
progress is fine.
Yeah.
Totally.
People have a hard time with that, Mandy, by the way. We live in a microwave society. Everybody wants results now, and unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, most things take time. And incremental progress is great if you have the patience to deal with it. And if you want to ramp that up, you can. You can buy a lead. There's a lot of things you can do to give you a shot in the arm and get a head start. But be patient enough to go through the 12 years of coaching or 12 years of schooling. Maybe it takes you a year or two in real estate. That's still a lot faster.
Yeah.
But people want this instant success right now. Let's try and make
I
these
heard
sweeping
this
changes.
analogy that, like in a new job or career, it takes people a year to find the bathroom. So I mean, like if
to
you're
start
new to
producing
something,
these,
you
yeah.
know, it could take you a year to kind of at least touch enough transactions to kind of figure it out. It could take you a year, like on our side, to learn and have enough loans that you've like learned all the loan programs and you have a general sense of feeling of things, the
Right.
talk tracks you need. I mean, so if you're new, I think that you've got to make a commitment of at least a year
Yeah.
to if you're going to commit to real estate or mortgage. Yeah, would you say that's
Well, I would
Or
say, and I'm aggressive in my approach. I tell agents new, and I don't even care what background they're in, if they should have in their first 30 days, they should be showing homes. And there's day 60, they should be writing offers. So if someone is in that group and they haven't, they need to probably be around winners or someone who can show them what they're doing wrong, because that realistically, I don't care what the market is. I don't care if we're in a down market, up market, that should be the standard.
Yeah.
Within 60 days, you should be writing contracts.
In order for them to do that, what is your advice on what the behaviors are ahead of to get them?
Honestly, the best they can do is put themselves around people who are already doing it realistically, because we go out there trying to teach people on what they should be doing, but in theory it's good to talk about it, but when they're actually in the midst of it and they're seeing people do it, not only does it give them permission, but they know where they're falling short. If they're showing up at 10 o'clock and they can see 3 grinders are out in the office, well, they know they're falling short, right? So we don't have anything to gauge it when we're out there by ourselves, or we're with a big brokerage or whatever. And it's like you don't know who's coming and going. Like, you need to be around people are killing it.
Well, and COVID kind of hurt that
Big-
vibe,
yeah,
right?
big- separated everybody.
Both sides of our business, or a lot of businesses, even outside of the mortgage or real estate space. I think that COVID was a downer that way. I mean, it gave us
Individual
it
side.
amplified the ability to work anywhere, which was great. There was a lot of perks. There's a lot of perks like this that people started watching podcasts or they started learning remotely. But I also think that, to your point, that humanity of being in a space where you can be around other people that are doers, people struggle with that. And then they get home, it's pretty easy to start washing your laundry or getting your Amazon packages off the porch. You get distracted from the doing, right?
Yeah. And that's where you got to be real with yourself. Do you want it or not?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. How bad do you want it?
Yeah. Because it's not hard. It's just easy not to do.
There you go.
I think at the end of the day, the easy not to do is probably the thing that, I'm my own boss in a way.
Right.
They work for someone, right? You work for Premier, you work for Street Group. But in our world, you became an entrepreneur in a spirit and made commission-based income because you wanted the flexibility of being to be your own boss. There's pros and cons to that.
Right.
And the people that really survive are very disciplined. Like you said, system, processes, consistency. The people that I've seen really crush either game have those just kind of as who they are, or they get the coaching so they have who they are.
Totally.
It's perspective. I think a lot of it is perspective. I've seen people come into the real estate world from different industries that were really hard, like I bucked hay on a farm when I was a kid, like driving the hay truck and unloading and loading hay and cutting hay and doing all that kind of stuff. People that come from a working thing, or a roofer, I know that did roofs in Phoenix, Arizona in the summer. You can imagine how hard of a job that way. They get into real estate and they kill it because it's really not that hard. The challenge is, what are you comparing it to? And people just don't do the things they could do. I mean, we always tell people this, the steps it's going to take for you to build a successful real estate business are not difficult. The problem is exactly what Jeff said. They're easy not to do. It's easy just to go do something else. And the people that really succeed, they just do the things they're capable of doing.
So let's talk about that, because I think some people are like, well, what is the things I should be doing? We talked about the calls and the connection points. What are other ways ideas that agents can build business, or a sphere, or those talk tos? You know, they're new to a town, they don't have a big database or sphere. They're trying to build those relationships. I think that's the question I get a lot of times, like, how do you start? Where do you start?
I think it starts with, how are you going to get business? That's the biggest question. I feel like people always focus on brokerage. I don't really think well, I think to some extent brokerage matters, but I think overall it doesn't. It really boils down to day one, how are you going to get business? How are you going to do it?
Well, if brokerage is helping you get business, or giving you ideas on how to get business, or teaching you how to hunt, all of those are key to the success and where you do pick. And you guys teach them how to hunt at your company. You teach folks, either you provide them an option of being part of a lead gen portion where they can make calls and you can teach them that, or you teach them how to hunt, and most of your day should be hunting.
Yeah, a majority of it should be. But you have to also know do you open houses? I mean, there's people still that do really well to crush it just doing nothing but open houses. Some people are on the phones all day long and they just crush it. So it's just knowing from day one, how are you going to get business? How are you comfortable? And then being honest with yourself. And then put yourself around those people who are doing it. I mean, it's really that simple. I know it sounds like it needs to be complex, but it's really that simple.
I think that a lot of people, that when I talk to folks, they're like, gosh, we make it sound simple, but to us, because we just did those tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have proof. I mean, we have several agents, and we just brought over an agent, Chris, literally just got his license, and he's not been with us 30 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's already had a closing, and I'm pretty sure he's at a closing, or is going to close soon, and I'm pretty sure he wrote another offer. And that's within like 30 days.
And he knew.
But we had tons
but
of
you had
never done real estate.
Tons of mentorship through Sweet Group, and I think that's key. Find the right mentors, find your coaches and helpful people. And obviously, he's a baller. He wants to work, and he's willing to make the calls and talk to people.
He's energetic and just goes and does the simple stuff. We haven't overdone it with coaching either. We've made it very simple. Like, this is exactly what you need to do, and he just went and did it. And actually, we have two Chris's that are first to our company that have done. One of them's doing really well, and the other one's going to be doing really well. So it's like,
well, we sit them down, man. So one thing I do with agents when they join the Sweet Group, we sit down and we talk about, there's only 4 categories where you can make money in real estate. You're a networker, you're a prospector, you're a marketer, or you're a converter. And I teach them those different lanes, what that looks like, and I say, pick one. The challenge most realtors have is they try and pick all 4 of them. They want to do everything, again, a mile wide, an inch deep, and they don't excel at any of them. And that's a challenge. I'd rather you do one and do it really well. And so we sit down and go, what does a networker do? Well, networkers have lunches, they have coffees, they have parties, they host events, they teach classes, they have hobbies. Like, I just go down the whole thing. And if you're not a networker, you're a prospector, where you call for sale by owners, you call expired listings, you circle prospect neighborhoods, you get on. I can just go down through it with them and say, okay, pick one of these and let's build your calendar out around that. If you're a networker, don't do this other stuff. And that's so hard for, especially entrepreneurs, to say no to stuff. Like, the better clarity you have on what you're going to do, the easier it is to say no to everything that doesn't fit. But most agents want to keep all their options open, so they're juggling 50 things at once and not really. It
becomes overwhelming, right?
They're not doing well at any of them. So help them get started with, what lane do you want to be in?
Well, and if you do find that I love that you identify the 4 lanes that people can kind of be in, and I think that's good advice, for loan officers as well. I always say, like, our CRM it's awesome and it's great, but it's a lot. And so I'm like, learn one thing really, really well, get that dialed in, then move to the next thing. Because I think that sometimes we try to eat the whole elephant all at once, and then you're like, okay, I'm failing.
I'm just lost.
I'm failing. I'm lost. This is horrible. This is a horrible system. So I always say, like, learn one thing and learn it really, really well, then move on to adding to that thing, because then you're winning at something along the way, right?
Yeah, totally.
And that's a challenge with real estate. I mean, people like, Jeff is amazing because he knows what he's good at and what he's not, and he stays in his lane. Just naturally, that's the kind of person that he is.
Yeah.
But most people aren't that way. You said this 3 times so far on this podcast, quit deluding yourself, right?
Yeah.
Agents need to quit deluding themselves. I'm not the best at everything. I might be the best at one thing, and that's where I need to start, and then build everything else around it. Don't fool yourself that I can just do everything as well as everybody else.
Right.
'Cause if you're good at what you do, you're valuable. I don't care what you are. I mean, we have our admin persons. I love her to death. She's extremely valuable to us. Like, company couldn't run without her, and that's admin.
Right.
You know, so it's like everybody has a position, and once you're honest about where your strengths lie, you can you're just as valuable as the other people.
Right.
You're in a different seat.
Right. And building the team around you. You've done a
Right.
great job of that, I think, and finding talent that will do if you love whatever avenue, you've backfilled your brokerage with people in those other 3 buckets that are really good at those areas,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And let's talk about a couple things. Talked a little bit about AI, but I want to talk about social media. You and I talked about this I don't know, 6 months, a year ago, and you're like, Mandy, well, how's that going? And I'm like, it's a necessary evil. Like it's my nemesis. I do it, but I don't always love it, and I have to kind of like work myself up to do it. And I just decided done was better than perfect along that way is my thought process. But you've now done that. You're building this new kind of persona of who you are on a social media platform. How's that going? How's it been received? All the things.
Well, you want to comment on that, Rick? I'm a little
Great.
opinionated. I don't know. It is going great.
It's going really well. Our numbers are.
I
great.
would say, I guess, what is your specific question? Like,
Well, I don't know. I mean,
do
just what's your thoughts
know,
on it? I mean,
what
why did you decide? Because that was not in your temperament. Like,
No.
as I know
Yeah.
you as a
Yeah,
person,
totally.
we've worked together a long time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said, oh yeah, Jeff is going to do social and he's going to
No,
crush it
it's
and slay it, and his
totally
content's
against my
going to be
character.
great,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, like he's more of a behind the scenes, get stuff done guy, and you don't have to be out there, but so it changed for you.
Well, one, I mean, I know we've really crushed it in a lot of different areas. So that was kind of like an area that was lacking that we'd never really tried.
Uh-huh.
And I really believe in leading by example. So I can't get people to do what I'm not willing to do myself. I don't feel like I'm qualified to give advice or to say, hey, you should be doing this if I can't even do it myself. So that's kind of what stirred it. And it actually has been working really well. I would say the one thing with social media, which I've learned, is I wouldn't do it unless you can't handle criticism. It is just like being on the phones, but it's a whole different ballpark because you're
Out there.
You're out
putting
there,
yourself out
and
there.
you can't like backtrack on that. So, and people are very unforgiving. So it's like, and the other part to that is, you cannot be like if you're gonna do social media and you're gonna give market stats or just rates or whatever, you have to do something different. You have to have something that's, because everybody's doing that. You have to have something that's gonna grab their attention. Because realistically, real estate is boring for the most part. I mean,
It's
yeah, looking
sexier
at,
than mortgage, man.
but I mean, for the most part, unless you're looking at something really cool, like you have to have something more than just
Right.
like the housing market,
Yay,
right?
houses.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want more than that.
Yeah.
Like, attention spans are not the same as they used to be. So
Yeah, we are instant gratification,
Yeah.
right? Online, we're instant. I mean,
Yep.
I doom scroll. I'm guilty.
Yep.
I mean, I think that we all are, and we need things that grab our attention, right? And you maybe
Cool.
have 3 seconds with people to really psychologically grab their attention, is what the stats I've read. And so you have to be willing to, you're putting yourself out there.
yeah, it's yeah. And so just lean, if you're gonna
Good
do
or
it,
bad,
lean into it.
get on it,
Yeah.
right? And I love that you lead from the front and you're like, well, I can't expect my team around me to do things that I'm not willing to try. And that's what I felt when I did social. I was like, okay, I'm
Totally.
going to try to post. My goal is once a week, every week. And you far surpassed me, but I'm like, I need some content that is valuable to people. Because if you have a customer that is looking to buy with you guys and they don't know you and they have no, the online presence may not be your ROI. You might not be able
Correct.
to value it to an ROI, right? You can't say, well, they saw me online and they bought a house or they got a home loan with me. But what if they're been referred to you and they have no context of who you are,
Exactly.
and they are online and they see someone else, then that validates who you are and maybe why you were referred, or I don't know. To me, it seems like you build your credentials, so to speak, online. Do you feel like that's true? I mean,
Yeah, totally. I think the one thing we hear now is like, you guys are everywhere, and then they feel that way because they're seeing us on all different platforms, and we're posting a lot of different content. A lot of it's Idaho focused because we're really Idaho and business focused.
right?
But I mean, there's a lot of goofy stuff and fun stuff, and it shows that we're humans, we're people,
Yeah.
and not just into real estate. So it's like we don't
Real
really
estate isn't
focus.
clinical. It's really
It's
not.
not.
It's a human business,
Yeah, and
right?
the moment we actually shifted from the boring real estate stuff and focused towards more of what people like, the community things that the fun stuff that people enjoy, I mean, our stuff's been skyrocketing.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. I know that it was, I always say, get more deodorant because your greatness lies outside your circle. Because you are going to sweat a little bit when you decide to step outside your circle where it's no longer comfy. Growth and comfort can't coexist.
That's right.
And it is uncomfortable, friends. I mean, when I got talked into this podcast, I was like, I do not want to do that. But, you know, try new things, be unique. Put yourself into that leadership space. I think that's what social media does. And you can be everywhere without being everywhere. And I think that's what that portion has done for Sweet Group. You know, you're more well recognized because honestly, and you've been consistent at it. If you're gonna do it and do it consistently. Because I feel like sometimes people are like, I'm gonna do this, and it's like the last time they posted was 2023. I'm like,
and you gotta have fun with it. You gotta do it to your flavor. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. You have to do what fits you. Don't try to do what everybody else does. Because I think being uncomfortable on it, you'll never get comfortable if you're doing it like you're trying to match someone else.
You're not authentic.
Yeah, you're not authentic. So yeah, do it how it feels good for you.
Yeah, I mean, he looks good in a cowboy hat, and I don't know. Were you wearing cowboy hats before?
No, it worked, and I think that's what started off the whole it was different, right? It was different from everybody else. So, and
they asked me to bring my dogs onto their social presence. So they're like, Mandy, bring the dogs. I have these cute little dogs. And so, yes, even Jeff had to hold a dog. So I guess my takeaway from that is sometimes even you've had mass success in real estate, and here you are, and you're like still learning and eager to grow as a person and a leader. And so if you're out there and you're like, gosh, I'm burnt out from this business, look at different avenues that you can get business, right? I mean, look at different ways that you can supercharge yourself so that your headspace gets back in the game. And so if you're listening and you're like, dude, I need a boost, I need a real estate boost or an origination boost, maybe what you need is another avenue that you can have fun with. And that's what you guys have done with social.
Yeah, totally. And I think having a good partnership with a lender, if you're on the, or a realtor, if you're on the lending side, makes a huge difference too, because it's not just your fellow agents or fellow lenders. Like, we work together pretty well. If you have that with a lender partnership, that's been a game changer for us. I mean, we really dove into that.
Well, I've so appreciated that. I mean, Jeff has mass respect for me because I have worked with real estate partners in the past that it's like, hey, will you do a lead spin with me? And I'm like, yeah, but then they're more worried about what they're closing on that side versus the lender's ROI. And ultimately your long-term success and why we've worked together so long is because there's mutual respect there and mutual benefit. And you can have an open conversation if things get pear-shaped on a deal, because ultimately there are things going to happen. And being able to pick the phone and go, what the heck? What's going on? Or why is this way? So find people, if you're a loan officer, find great humans that you can actually be honest with and talk to about your business, talk to what you're good at. Let them be, ask them, what did I do good? What am I not doing good at? And what's other people doing in my market that I need to add to my business as a loan officer? And I'm sure you guys are asking the same thing on the real estate side, even of your consumers. What did I do good? What can I improve on? And what maybe would you like to see me do that somebody else is doing for their customers, Well,
Jeff said earlier, he said ego. You mentioned that word a couple of times. I think that's a real problem in any industry, but certainly real estate and lending, is agents think they know everything already. And the best ones, they might eventually develop an ego, but at first they're trying to learn everything they can from everybody they can, and surrounding themselves with the right people. Getting around other people that are producers is a huge influence. And if you think you know everything already, good luck, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Be open to learning. Even like I said, Jeff, massive career. And then he comes in and he's like, well, man, he goes, so you're doing this social media thing? And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying. And I think that it's valuable. I have no ROI on it, friend, because we always talk about ROI. Yeah. And I think that, you need to weigh your time and your money and all those things to what your ROI is. Because if you're doing it and it's not paying, that's a hobby, not a job. And
I definitely wouldn't do it if that was your gig on just getting business that way. I definitely don't recommend it. I think social media is when you already have a business that's doing well, then add social media. I would not do it just right off the get-go. Right. You'll just waste a lot of time. And like I said, if you want to break into it, you have some thick skin.
Yeah.
Get rough out there.
Yeah, I think that I said, oh my gosh, 30 years ago when I started the mortgage business and I was going to college at Boise State, I didn't say, oh yeah, I'm going to be a creator of content.
Yeah, no.
I don't think that was, I was a marketing major and it wasn't even a thing. Yeah. So if you are not sure if you want to get in that space, ChatGPT, to back to our AI, is a full circle conversation.
Yeah.
I use it a ton, and I type in what I want and I ask it to make it personalized to me for a script. I want it less than 90 seconds. I want it to be, you guys are very more authentic, like off the cuff, but for me, I'm like, okay, I have 5 minutes. I'm going to definitely use a teleprompter to help me kind of collaborate my ideas, quickly read them, put it together, have it edited, and kick it right back out. And I use chat a lot for that. Or if I need to compose an email and I feel like it's not quite written right, or the spirit of which I want it to go out, ChatGPT helps with that. So there's a lot of ways that you can leverage chat or AI to help you with your business that isn't so crazy off the charts technical that you're like, you feel intimidated by that, I feel like.
Absolutely. And AI, if you think of it in that way as a thought partner, it can be really valuable. It'll help you be more creative.
Yeah.
As ironic as that is, AI can help us be more human if we use it as a thought partner. But if we just copy and paste everything it tells us, that's where I think it becomes a real problem.
Right. Well, what do your take is?
Yeah, I agree. I have Whoosy AI and I have ChatGPT. I'm a weirdo.
You got all the channels.
I love it. I mean, there's so much you can do with it, and I think it's underutilized. But I don't think agents also need to like worry about, that they have to be proficient in it. I think I would start experimenting with it and add it into their business, like just simple stuff, even listing descriptions or just rewording an email or what have you, just to get familiar with it. I think.
Well, if you work with Jeff and this team over at Sweet Group, you're going to you're going to walk and then you're going to sprint, it sounds like, in your business. And so if you're in the real estate space and you're like, dude, I feel like I'm stifled in my business or I need help, I can say with a lot of confidence that Sweet Group can help you do that with your business if you're interested in getting into real estate. And I just appreciate you guys being my friend and being good humans and good partners and being innovative in a space that needs it very much. So thank you for being here today, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you.